What's up, guys? It's Tajae here, back with another Last of Us 2 informational video, and today I want to talk about 10 things you may have missed from the E3 trailer that completely changes how the game can play out. And before we get into it, as always, if you can leave a like, comment, sub, do whatever you do, and let's get right into it. So to kick things off, the first thing you probably missed would be more ways to play stealth in this game. For instance, now you can hide in foliage, which we've also seen in previous Naughty Dog games such as Uncharted 4, and then even more brilliantly, which is just kind of blows my mind if you think about it, we can go prone now. Now the reason why this is actually crazy is because now it can add to verticality of the game and possibly add to new sequences that we wouldn't have had chances to go through for The Last of Us 1. Also, it also helps to the stealth gameplay because you can hide under the cars now. Let's say you want to crawl under a table or something, go prone in the grass, like just all types of possibilities. And then the second overlooked detail is that there's like a visibility slash stealth gauge at the bottom right hand corner. And what I noticed what it does is that it grows bigger, like white, whenever you're seen. So let's say you're standing or like you're not in grass, and then like it slowly shrinks down more depending on what your action is. That like, so let's say you're behind a car, you're like, it's a little bit smaller because you can't be seen as well. And then if you're in grass, it's way down. If you go prone in the grass, it goes super tiny. And then what's crazy, whenever you're in combat, it's like flashing white to let you know that like you're in gunplay. And what's crazy, you get to go back to incognito. Like you could run away and go back stealth and it will die right back down like as you play, so you can see what's going on like in the world and if you're in stealth or not just by looking at the bottom right corner. Now thirdly, enemies now drop materials, and that's something that the first game didn't at all incorporate. Like the first game they only dropped bullets, so now enemies can drop materials and you don't have to just search and pick up materials from the environment. So yeah, enemies carry materials now. Now missed detail number 4, and this actually super excites me because it makes like the gameplay even better from the first game, and that's an evading moveset. So we know how in the first game how like an enemy punches at you, the only time you can really evade is if they try to grapple you. So you have to take hits that they hit you with. There's no like triangle counter button, but in this game you could dodge arrows, you could dodge a swing at you. Like there's actually evade moves, and that would make the gameplay like super fluid, great looking, and the animation would just be flawless. Like the animation work would literally be so amazing to look at. Now number 5 is also really exciting for like animation and gameplay work, because now if you don't have like a melee weapon, and let's say you get a melee kill, just like back in Uncharted, I think it started in Uncharted 3, now if you get the melee kill, you could take the person's weapon from their hand. And that literally would make gunplay and fight play like so much more smoother, because you don't have to kill the person, then pick up the weapon and start swinging. Like it's all on a smooth animation. Boom, dodge, hit, take the weapon, kill, and go right to the next enemy. And that's just gonna be so satisfying. Like who wouldn't like that? Like that's literally the best thing I've ever seen. Now number 6 is actually another gameplay mechanic that's added that will literally make the game like a little bit more like difficult, but I think it would just be awesome because like it makes for more cool animation work. And that's like the way Ellie sustains her injuries, and like it makes it to where there's like a prerequisite before healing. Now if you pay attention to whenever she gets shot with an arrow, if you look at the bottom right corner, like there's an extra button that pops up on the HUD, and it's R1, and it shows like an arrow, and that's like the prompt to pretty much remove the arrow from her shoulder. And I think you have to do that before you heal yourself, which is why I say it's like a prerequisite before healing, which can make the game more challenging because now you can't regenerate your health up with the meds unless you pull out the arrow, and there's a timer for the arrow to be removed. I don't really know what else they could do that with, because like bullets, I wouldn't think they'd do that since she did get shot multiple times and like she didn't have to remove anything. But who knows, maybe what they have in store, maybe there's just more animations and combinations for it than just like arrows, but we'll see when it comes out. Now this is probably the most overlooked detail of them all, in my opinion, since it's kind of in plain sight and I don't really see a lot of people talking about it, but there's brute type enemies now. So pretty much an enemy who's bigger and buffier than the rest and takes a lot more damage to kill. And I think like more archetypes of enemies is pretty lit, because I mean we just had basic like people in the last game, the same NPCs that all did the same thing, but now we have a little bit of a variation of like enemies. Maybe more enemies that have armor this time around, and whoever knows what else they can do. But yeah, brutes. Now, this is probably one of the hardest things you could possibly catch, and that is number 8. And there's 2 new material types. I know one's scrap, and then the other is like, I don't know if it's like a gasoline or some type of bleach or something. And then the same still image should lead into number 9, which is craftable suppressors for your pistol. And then there's also like, if you see there's like blank spots, so I'm guessing like further in the game you can unlock new craftables, but I don't know what they could be. Hopefully they're super creative and fun. See, look, there's more stuff to play with. There's more fun to have. See, this is why this game's gonna be bigger and better than ever. And then last but not least, number 10, which is destructible environments. This would make every encounter like a playground of destruction, because the way you walk in, things won't look the same the way you walk out. Explosions will break things. You'll be knocked into things. Bullets can also pierce glass, maybe even go through wood. Since, things are already destructible, maybe you'll be able to shoot through objects. There's lots of different possibilities of what can happen. And that concludes my breakdown of everything we've seen. Hopefully you learned something new. That's 10 things that I noticed that most people probably wouldn't notice. And I highly appreciate if you could leave a like, a comment, sub, tell me if you learned something new, tell me if you didn't. Maybe I'm an idiot, who knows? And make sure to tune in for the next video.